Hey guys, this is Alex with the Nokia n86. The reason for this video is just to go over a few features of this phone and what are my thoughts on it. I see a lot of people throughout the time this phone has been out put reviews, but what I despise about what I see on YouTube is that people go over what the phone looks like, the obvious of what you see on the phone, and they don't really go in discussion as to how it works and how well it's how useful it is on a daily basis. This particular handset I'll try to explain as properly as possible, and I'll try to make sure that I go over what's important to me and what I find most people will be interested in. First and foremost, the coolest feature I find on this device is the FM transmitter. This device you can just basically keep in your pocket, play your music, and just basically have it playing on your car radio if you want. So it already comes it comes with a pre-installed memory of 8 gigs, and you can add an SD card to make it up to, I think, something like 48 or 60 gigs. So you can definitely put a lot of music on here. The other neat feature that I actually found with this device is that it actually can pair up with a Bluetooth keyboard. So you can basically get a travel size keyboard, and you can basically get the AV out cables. And if you're traveling, what you can do is just pair this up with the Bluetooth keyboard and plug this into your TV, and then you basically have a desktop on the go. You can surf the internet and all that sort of jazz. Obviously, you may not need that. You can just do it right off the phone, but it's a neat feature to have. Most phones don't have that. Another thing that sets this phone apart is the camera. Now, unless you're spending quite a bit of money on the latest Android phones or even the iPhone, it's going to cost you a pretty penny to have a good camera. The nice thing is, again, the form factor of this device is quite small, and it packs a punch with the camera. The actual lens is a wide lens, and it actually has a very, very large lens. So basically, despite saying that it has an 8 megapixel count, it's actually quite good. The megapixel count doesn't always say much about how the camera is going to be. I've seen a lot of Android phones with 5 megapixel cameras, and they're still crap because the autofocus doesn't work properly and so forth. But with this device, you've got face detection, you've got stability control, and all that jazz. So it's a very, very, very good full-fledged camera with Carl Zeiss lens. You do have dual LED, so it's actually quite nice at night, but there is a bit of a blue tinge, so it's very important to consider that. I know the N8 that's coming out very soon has a xenon flash, so that's actually maybe going to make a difference, but it's a different form factor. I mean, this is a dual slider, and it is a phone, but it's a smartphone. It's not a full QWERTY phone. You're expecting you to expect pretty much. I have to say, what you'd have to expect an experience of using a phone as opposed to like a full-fledged smartphone. However, there are features on here that actually really, really, really make this an interesting buy, because you do have, for example, you do have Wi-Fi, you have GPS, and now Nokia has just put out their latest software of their map software, which actually gives you free navigation. Their software, I believe, is actually pre-installed on the phone, so there's no internet usage that's needed to actually go on the maps. The actual data is already pre-installed. I've actually gone ahead with this particular handset, and I've gone ahead and debranded it, and I've gone ahead and put the latest software. This is actually a Rogers device, but I don't like the bloatware that Rogers puts on their phones, so I've actually just made sure to put a different country code through NSS and then through NSU, which is Nokia Software Update. I've gone ahead and updated to the latest software, which is 3.0. In terms of durability, the slider is a very well built slider. It's all metal. The actual hinges on the slider are also metal, so unlike the N95 or previous sliders from Nokia, they were all plastic with metal braces on the side. This here, the actual slider itself is metal, and the actual hinges that hold the actual slider in place are also metal, the brackets basically. So you're guaranteed to have a durable slider. Yes, it may be a little tiny bit of play on the top and bottom, but the truth is this thing's not going to come apart. And if it's a little loose, that's as loose as it's going to get, because unlike plastic that actually um, gets tired after a while, metal is going to last you forever. The front is glass, and this actually brings another interesting point, that if you do happen to shatter the glass by dropping it, or if you crack the glass or scratch it, parts are quite inexpensive from Nokia. Or for Nokia, sorry. You're not going to find the parts on the Nokia website, but you will find parts on eBay. Be careful though, because if you do buy the wrong parts, the fit and finish won't be the same. So make sure you look at my other videos that I've posted in case you do end up breaking it or scratching it. I actually had a white one before. I loved it to pieces, but I found that the keys up here were a little loose. So I thought, oh well, you know what, I could probably just open it up and blah blah blah. Well, the way the front, like I said, it's all metal, and actually behind this glass there's actually quite a bit of a metal frame that actually holds it all in place, and this glass screen is adhered to the metal. So what you would need to do is, if you were to buy the parts on eBay, you would actually have to separate the glass from the bezel and replace the circuit also that's in between the two. But on my other video, I explained how you can actually just buy the whole front. Of course, you'd have to keep the actual LCD because it's an expensive part, but the glass, buttons, and bezel all come in a package now. And if you look at the right place, you can actually make sure it's genuine by getting a second-hand grade A device as opposed to buying brand new, because like I say, Nokia doesn't sell brand new parts, so you'd be buying a knockoff. So you got to make sure you get the right stuff. Um, the actual innards of the phone, let me open it up for you. So you actually grab it from the bottom, pop it open, and you've got your actual battery, and you've got your place for your actual your microchip card for your provider, and you've also got a slot right there for your SIM card. Now, I've also unlocked this device. There are two models of this device. There's the North American version and there's the European version. If you're in North America, I'm in Canada, it's important for you to make sure that you have the proper device, or else you won't be able to unlock it for all the providers out here. This runs on 1900 megahertz, I think, for 3G. So it's actually, I'm using the Rogers device for TELUS. So it works quite well, no drop calls, and it's absolutely great. You do have an excellent Gmail app for this device as well, so it feels like you have push email. And oh yeah, another cute thing to mention about this phone, it's got a cool kickstand. So right where the camera is, there's a kickstand, and when you put the kickstand, you actually you can actually arrange it so that it as soon as you open it, a certain program opens up. I've got it so that it opens up with my pictures, but you can make it look however you want. So again, I hope that helps a little bit. I'm sorry if I haven't covered anything you may have questions about, but make sure to let me know, and I'll try replying to you. Thanks again, guys, and if you have any questions again, just make sure you comment below.